So I'm here with Carlos Serna. Carlos, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and where you're from?
Well, who am I? Originally, I'm from Colombia, born there. Been in this country for about 30 years. I got into the personal training industry I want to say about 20 years ago. Started mostly as a hobby because, believe it or not, I used to be in networking and I did this on the side. And the company I was working for went under, so they got rid of everyone. And I just kind of went on full time to do this, and I've been doing it since. So that's where I'm at as far as a personal trainer in that way. I don't know if that's the right.
Sure. What, what, 20 years, and you said it started as a hobby. Was that just, um, developed from your own personal interest going to the gym, or
Yeah, I mean,
was that?
I've always been athletic all throughout school. I was pretty athletic, and I've always liked working out and doing things. And people would always come to me for advice and come to me for can you work out with me? Can I work out with you? Et cetera, et cetera. So I decided to get my personal trainer's certification just to get it, just to have it. And I just did it kind of on the side here and there. But then once I lost that job, I kind of just went into it full time, and I've been doing it since. So
It sounds like growing up, you mentioned people asked to work out with you.
yeah,
Is that kind of what gave you your foot in the door and how to train other people or teach other
yeah.
people, or was that more difficult?
It was always like a more or less like a passion for me, like sports in general. Like just I was just very athletic. I come
Which sports?
well, I played soccer, I did track. I mean,
Okay.
so um, and I was just athletic all around. So it's just something that I like doing. So again, that's why I started as a hobby. It's just something I'd like to do. And I never thought I was going to actually fall into it and stay on it full time. If it wasn't because I lost that job, I probably wouldn't, I wouldn't know what I'd be right now. But that's how I found to personal training, and I've been doing it since. It's
Were
taken a
there
long time to make a career out of it, though.
right, right,
So
to build up
to
new
build up
clients
to where you could actually live off of it. So it's taken a long time. But
and when you transitioned from your old job to, being a personal trainer, was there any skills that you felt that you had learned from your old job that you kind of transferred over naturally to being a personal
it
trainer?
it was for the computer industry, so it's totally different,
Totally different.
totally different. But um, just not. I mean, not really. I can't really say I did. There's nothing I could say that transferred from one job to the next. I mean, I love what I'm doing now more than whatever I did then. So
That's
yeah.
great. You're following your passion, right?
So yeah.
What would you consider are some of your training or fitness accomplishments that you're most proud of?
Personally or with my clients.
Let's do both, but start personally.
What have been my biggest accomplishments in this industry?
In the personal training industry, I think I recall you ran your own gym, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's always been. Yeah, I had my own gym up until COVID. Again, I've been pretty much self-employed for most of my personal training career. Just
Mhm.
something that just I guess that's just me. I've always liked to be just working on my own. As far as my biggest accomplishment, I guess I could say, yeah, the fact that I was able to get to a point where I could actually open my own facility. Unfortunately, you know, COVID hit and it kind of just took me out. But I did get to that point. Again, I always did personal training on my own. I really never really worked much for a gym, but it was mostly like in homes, et cetera, et cetera. But then when I got enough clientele to say, hey, look, I think I got enough now to actually open a facility, I finally was able to do it. And then this hit. But yeah, that was probably my biggest accomplishment, being able to actually have a facility and have people come to me instead of me going to them all the time.
I know the pandemic has been really hard on everyone, and you mentioned that it
Mm.
affected your gym shutting down. Could you speak to how you've had to adjust?
Well, I definitely had to come out of my comfort zone. We all kind of fall into that, and I know we shouldn't. We should always try and work outside our comfort zone, but it made me work outside of it in the sense that, look, I have no equipment. I actually had to take my weights, dumbbells, kettlebells, and go and distribute them to all my clients just so I could keep them on virtually. so we could keep the workouts going. Not just because they wanted it, but I also needed it from a financial standpoint. I needed to keep my clientele. So it made me think outside the box because there's all they have is a pair of dumbbells and maybe a kettlebell. So I had to really get creative with what I could do and try and change it every week and not making it so like the same thing over and over again. So I'm having to really sit there and literally, I have a little book. Where is it? It's over there where I keep and I log everything in. Every workout I do, I log it in, and I always compare to the week before, the week prior, that I'm not doing the same workouts. So it's definitely made me a better trainer as far as designing my workouts. I've had to. I mean, it's like there's a saying that says adapt or perish. Well, you have to adapt to this, else you're gonna miss out on a lot of things. So
Right.
it was a blessing in disguise, I guess. I mean, if it weren't for the pandemic, I never would have gotten into this platform or virtual. I've always been a big believer of just doing things one on one. Now I see it can be done this way, and clients are liking it. But I do also have to say that it is a double-edged sword because I don't know tomorrow when everything opens back up, are people going to want to continue this way? And now that I don't have a facility, I've lost so many clients that I can't go back and open up another facility because I lost so many clients. So it's going to be one of those things where like, okay, let's see what's going to happen next.
Do you feel trainer will help you navigate kind of this world of virtual fitness that, the COVID, the pandemic has kind of forced everyone into?
So again, trainer came in like at almost the right time, right? Because now it's given me a chance to expose myself a lot more and hopefully get a lot more clientele that I've lost from not just locally, but from other areas. So yeah, I mean, it did come at the right time. And I think it will be something that, well, it will be something that in the future, even if gyms open back up, there's still going to be some people who are going to be skeptical about going back to a gym. So this platform would probably be one of the best things to offer them to keep them going. So I think it's a great thing.
What was it about trainer that excited you the most, or what you saw the most potential in?
Exposure.
Exposure.
Yes, definitely. Because you're so limited when you're a local trainer. You know what I mean? You're only limited to a 25-mile radius because I won't go outside my 25-mile radius to a client, or a client's probably not going to come to me if I'm outside a 10-mile radius. So definitely exposure. It could get me clients from across the country for all I know, across the world for all, we don't know. There's no limit to it. So that's probably the one thing that I'm most excited about, being able to get myself out there more.
Absolutely. And I know you spoke about, getting creative with coming up with at-home workouts and keeping up the variety. Uh, what would you say, in your opinion, is the most important aspect of keeping clients accountable and motivated, especially in quarantine?
Keeping them motivated. I think one of the biggest challenges in keeping them motivated is getting them up is one thing that's very hard. But again, if or when I do work them out, I challenge them in such a way that I make sure that every single day that we train, it's actually harder and harder. I mean, no matter what, whether it's more reps, more time, or whatever it may be. So it makes them feel like they're actually doing something. If once I feel like the workout for them is maybe getting easy, or they'll tell me, "Oh, this is too easy. I'm not getting my sweat going," then that's my key to really push them harder. And I think that's what keeps them engaged a little bit more. Also, and I mentioned this before, one of the things that I've always asked them is, what do you want to do? What do you want to work on? I'm always constantly asking them. And when I go in and train a client, I don't just go in with just one workout. I have 2 or 3 workouts, and I say to them, okay, what would you like to do today? Do this, or that. So I give them options. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the ways I keep them more engaged, because the workouts aren't like just the same thing over and over and over again. Every week I try and do something different, and I change the workouts, like lower body one day, upper body the next, hit the next, or a mix of everything. So I'm always shocking them with what they're going to get. And that's what's keeping them coming. And again, I think key is I always ask them, how do you feel? What do you want to do? What do you want to work on? So it's not like, okay, here's what you're doing, do it. No, they also kind of give me their ideas, and I go and I flow with them. So
Right. I think as trainer rolls out this open table feature where you can have consultations with people online, I think that'll be really great.
mhm.
As you mentioned, you have this amazing knack for delivering exactly what the client wants and giving them options. Um, I'm curious how, if you could speak to, um, circling back to just some of your fitness accomplishments, what do you consider an accomplishment in regards to your clients? Like, do you feel, when they see progress, do you feel immense source of pride or?
You know what? Progress is one thing, seeing results with them is another, right?
Mhm.
One of my biggest accomplishments, and I think a lot of trainers could agree with me on this, when you have a client that's been with you 7, 8, 9, 10 years, that says a lot. Not just about the client, but also about me. So that makes me feel like I've accomplished a lot with them in the sense of if they're sticking with me that long, then there's something I'm doing that they're like. And so just to keep them that long, believe me, keeping clients is hard. Clients flip from trainer to trainer very easy because clients seem to get bored with workouts very quick. So or if they stop seeing results with you, they're like, all right, I'm gonna go try something else. But I have a lot of clients who have been with me for years. And I'm not lying when I say 10 years, 9, 10 years. They've been with me that long. So that to me is an accomplishment on its own that I've been able to retain the clientele for that long. And that's probably, if I'm going to say that, that's probably the biggest accomplishment, being able to retain my clientele for that long. So,
Right. No, absolutely. 9 years retention is not an easy
no,
feat.
it's not at all. So,
Uh, could, could you speak to what motivates you as a personal trainer?
I think I'm just a people person.
Hmm.
I love dealing with people, and I think I'm a good people person. I can communicate well with people. I I'm not always business. I also become a friend, a shoulder to cry on with them, and they tell me things, I tell them things. We actually go out to dinner, we go out for drinks. So it's just I guess personality. I don't know. So
Right. Well, that's a special ability to be able to connect with
right.
lots of people. Um, would you say that you have a big takeaway or lesson that you try and impart with your clients, push onto your clients when you're working with them?
You know what? One of my, when I had my gym, um, the slogan for it was, if I remember correctly, and this kind of goes to it, is where your success is measured by pushing past your limits.
Hmm.
So I'm always trying to push them harder and harder and have them feel like they're accomplishing more and more every time.
No, I think that's a
Yeah.
very powerful kind of mantra, if you
Yeah.
will.
Right.
Um, and thinking about, uh, keeping your clients motivated in quarantine, uh, keeping them accountable by staying up to date with them, right? You're
Yeah, I mean,
constant.
and look, and a lot of clients, I've always said you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So a big part is the client wanting to work out, right? And I think one of the keys to keep them in is, like I said to you, you don't want to make the workouts like the same thing over and over and over again. You want to, I mean, you don't. There's only an X amount of exercises you could do in a workout, right? There's only an X amount of exercises you could possibly do with dumbbells in your own body, right? So you are limited, but it doesn't mean that you can't keep it interested, right? You gotta always make sure that they're being challenged, and that's the best way to keep them engaged. And again, they're motivated themselves because they feel like if I'm not doing anything else, I might as well be working out. You know,
Right.
so and I got clients who train at 5 in the morning, and during this pandemic, they're still getting up at 5, and they don't have to go to work, but they're still training at 5 in the morning. So it's something from a mental aspect. I think it's something they know it's good for them, and physically, mentally, emotionally, they have to keep that, at least that, going for them.
Mm.
So
Do you think with your programs on Trainer, it would be helpful for clients who maybe don't have a set point in time of their day where they can work out, and it's really a kind of on demand for them, convenient for their schedule?
oh, definitely. I mean, that's the one good thing about Trainer. Like, with a personal trainer, you know, we're a business, right? So we keep a schedule, and there's certain clients who like to work out at a certain time every day, right? And there's clients who need to be floating around all the time. They can't stick to one set schedule. So I think that's where trainers good, because they have that access at whatever time convenient for them.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And just to get a more holistic overview as you as a trainer, do you have anything that you specialize in terms of fitness?
so there's a couple things. I love working with special needs kids. That's like one of my. I don't have enough kids that I work with, but I do have a couple, and that's one of the things that I like to put a lot of emphasis on. If I do, or when I do get people who are special needs, just because you're special needs doesn't mean they can't do things. Believe me, I have special needs kids who are holy crap. I've worked out with them. I kid you not. I've actually worked out with them, and I've had to tell them slow down because they're just so like. So that's something that I, in as far as my business goes, as far as my personal training experience or life, whatever you want to call it, that's something that I've always loved to levitate towards too, special needs. So
That's wonderful.
yeah.
And I
And
think,
don't get me wrong, there's also like just I'm a big believer in like you don't have to go to the gym for an hour and a half to get a workout. You can get a hell of a workout in 30 minutes if you know how to do it. And
and that's
I
where you step in.
right, that's right. And in those 30 minutes, I always make sure that because most of my clients train for only 30 minutes, but they feel like they train for an hour and a half because the intensity I work them out in. And that's what you need, right? So that's another thing that I think, and I know a lot of trainers are gravitating towards that fast, high intensity workout, right? I think that's one of the things as to why a lot of my clients have stuck with me. They like that intensity that I work them out on. So that's something I guess I feel like I'm a little more different than the next trainer as far as my workouts go.
And specifically with these workouts, you are weight training and hit focus, correct? Are there other areas that
I use everything. I use
use?
body weight. I use weights. I do a lot of functional training, calisthenics. I mix a lot of time, reps, circuits. I just try and mix it all up just to constantly be shocking the person I'm working with. The body. I mean, you need to shock the body. You can't. The body will get used to whatever you throw at it. So I'm always constantly changing everything on them.
Hmm. Right. And just to also keep the client kind of engaged and
Right.
interested and
Right.
um,
Yeah.
people.
Because it's just when they think they're doing okay, I throw a wrench in there, and they're like, "Oh my god!" Oh yeah, that just that's just the way it works.
That's certainly keeping in people on their toes. That's
Right.
awesome.
Right. Right. Right.
Um, where do you see your business? How do you envision your business post COVID?
I'll be honest with you. I have a lot of hope in this trainer app. Again,
Yeah.
I would love to really be able to get my name out there, not just locally, but expand it a lot more. So this is where I hope, and I think after this happened, a lot of people are realizing that nothing's guaranteed in life, and like, and we have this pandemic has hit us in such a way that we need to adapt in other ways. So I'm hoping that this platform just gets me to that next level. Because
Right.
there's only so much you could do. There's only so much you can do. And believe me, no, I mean, and I love what I do. I don't want to just sit here and write out programs and put them on trainer. You know what I mean? I want to do that. I love to do that. But I also like to engage with people personally. I would love to be able to open up another facility. And I think the trainer maybe that that the training will allow me to hopefully one day again open up a facility by getting more and more clients through trainer. So, I
Absolutely right, because not everyone, like you said, is willing to leave their home right now, as they shouldn't for some safety
right,
reasons. And
right.
um,
And again, you're exposed to, I mean, trainer has with trainer you have the potential to be exposed to hundreds of thousands of people. You know what I mean?
yeah,
At a
absolutely.
local gym, it's only a few hundred. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that trainer can get me to that next level, as far as clients going, as far as exposure, and me be able to open up another facility.
Have you
So,
found to writing programs for trainer that that's forced you to think um, more creatively about what you want your digital presence to look like? And
oh my God, yes, yes, yes. Believe me, I'm the biggest critic of me. You know what I mean? Like I'm always criticizing myself because I don't want to look dumb on there. I want to, I want my workouts to be interesting. You know what I mean? I want people to say, "Wow, that was a really good workout." So yeah, it's making me think outside the box all the time. Because when I'm writing out a program for trainer, I want to make sure I'm putting something good up there. I don't want to, I don't want somebody to say, "Well, that's," I want somebody to say, "Wow." I want that wow factor from them. So yeah, I do think that I think we all have to do it if we're going to work with trainer. We all have to, as personal trainers, really give our best when designing a program.
Well, I love your 7 programs. It was great to talk to you, Carlos. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Um, and we're looking forward to expanding your digital presence.
Thank you. Thank you.